Hello, this is Gerald Johan. So now you see example of letter coordinated word. Letters, they are really showing you uh, points of directions. They show you points that are not moving at all, or they show you points that are moving all the time. So it's all about three sorts of focuses that are related with recognition of the same things that we recognize in letters. They also appear as coordinates that we use to describe something. All goes on consciously, just like if we move through space, it also goes quite automatically. We deal with right, left, up, down, all these things. We deal also with these three aspects. It is about movement that is there all the time. That's the third category where you deal with these things in a certain way that are described with letters. Or they move just into a predictable direction so that you can figure out, okay, where is it going to? Or is it not moving at all? It's just something fixed before you. Then it's also another kind of description that you need for that. All of these things, they need a way to describe it, and letters are a way to describe what's happening there. In the fixed points, it's into 1, 2, or 3 points. In the moving parts, it's about 1, 2, or 3 directions that you deal with. In the all the time moving aspects, where you have to deal with it with an estimation of what is really the effect upon us, are also another kind of description actually of what is going on there. They are not really related with points or arrows, or they have a kind of points that you have a contemporary point that you can follow all the time, which is changing and moving all the time. Or it also has arrows of directions that you say, okay, there's something coming towards me, and I'm also approaching it towards that thing. So that is a very relative state to say, like, okay, how should we express this? But that's another matter. We go to see and describe a word with letters of plant, and that's actually not too difficult. One of the difficult things is that when we use this image of fixed space, of moving area, or of the surrounding possibility of all the movements, we are a bit restricted to this idea that when we have to when our watching over and following up when the follow-up of the changes that are happening there is a bit too complex, with the order of letters will help us to see in which direction things will fit in. So the adaptation is still needed to respect also the order of the letters, not just the positions there, but also the order of the letters. That's an extra complexity that comes to it, so that we follow it up correctly. It's also in language, of course, it is very clear that that when you have, for instance, I have an example. For instance, if I go towards a door, or the door goes towards me, of course, that's another order of words. It's also another order of what is happening there, and we have to figure it out automatically, of course, that we rearrange this order according to the elements. Also, letters are elements of placement within these three categories. And I'll just show you the letters where they belong. So you have them here at the right. Where do they belong? There are a few letters that are about directions, and a few letters that are about positioning, actually. So what we do not need is the last category. So we do not have to estimate what is it, where is it, what's the effect upon us. No, it's not about that. It's just about something that has to do with placement and direction, nothing else. We start with direction. The P is the 1, 2, 3, the third option of the second category. So it also is expressed with 3 directions, and we have to figure out, yeah, which direction is it going. Into a diagonal sense, it's going somewhere else. It's a push-up direction, as a matter of speaking. That's how it can be expressed here. That's the starting point of our focus of plant. The L, this is next one, is this. I see differences when I focus upon fixed points, and I see difference that something is growing. Actually, it's like growth. It's a form. Something is formed there. And also there it's the second category of the second second row, let's say, of the second option. Yeah, that's the right word. The second option of the first category. It's about points in space. We need 2 points in space. The difference of 2 points in space, where we see it vertically, what is going on there. That's just technical. These technical aspects help you very much, because that's your distinction. The horizontal, vertical, diagonal, 1, 2, 3, and in movement or not in movement are actually already all what you need as elements to describe all the letters. The letter A is from the first level of the first category. It's in 1 point. You can have the organization in 1 point. But also horizontal, vertical, and diagonal still exist there. So because it's just 1 point, the background is actually the horizontal in A, and in T it will be, of course, the vertical, and in K it will be the diagonal. But A is in the background. There is a range of where you can find that point. That point, again, is centered towards the center, but it acts actually like a grounding foundation of what you're going to use. So that's the next letter. Then we have the letter N, is the letter that has to do with direction. It changes its direction in a vertical sense. It changes that direction in space. The first level is again a repetition from the first category of fixed things in space. And here it will also move the fixed things in space. That's to do something else with it, to use it for a timed schedule, actually. That is basically what it is describing in all the words that have that letter. And I have, you can describe them all in a similar way, and they all will mean the similar things as well. I have here the categories in the background as well, that the fixed points, they are associated with what we see on Earth, with the physical thing. The movement and the changes and the timing we usually associate with all the things we see in the heavens as well. That's the association which goes automatically as well. And it's very practical, and that's why it works, and that's why it is okay to use these almost symbolic archetypes, let's say, that are used in the past before, so that people knew what they were doing. They were not really having some kind of religious whatever outcome or result that is random or is built upon something else than or something irrational. No, it's an order, and it makes sense to still use this order with its own limits, of course, but you can use that. So Earth and Heavens has a reason why it fits and why it could fit, as long as you keep your mind sober to realize how far that is relevant also to use that in the background. It is relevant in the background. The Earth is here, it's around us, and the sky is up there, so why not use what's in front of you to make better distinction? The letter T is then, I show you its position, and I show you also its background. Its background is my background for it. To find out where it is related is the vertical sense here in the background. So in totality, it's actually quite, if you just let it sink in a little bit and you see, okay, I have to start with the pushing out of my environment towards another direction. This pushing up there, I start with P, with L, something that I center there, which is taking a shape, which is forming there, which has a grounding there, and from that grounding I will also say, okay, I can find here a functional place for it, which in this case it also says it will be as a form, as a grounded form, as a pushed out form, will grow upward out of its spatial limitations. And that's what a plant as a natural plant is, but it's also this idea of how it has been built up. So a plant is not just that nature thing, it's also, you can have any plant, or you can plant anything from that ground up in the same way. That's how the word plant fits with all these different meanings. Sticking to the theory of the letters alone is a bit still too confusing, because you have to jump from here to there and so on. There's a second order as well, or second attention, which goes to the word itself and the order of letters. The order of letters says, no, we don't stick to our vision that we are the starters of a word and there's the interpreter and we adapt to it. There's also an adaptation to the thing itself, to the word itself. And there's an order of letters, and we have to respect the order of letters. So the focus changes with it. So let's do that now. So although it's all correct that the positions where they originate are correct, the combination of making them into one go towards a certain position in space as an object of its own, with its own qualities of its own, we have to go in one go, not in jumps from here to here, in one go with an adaptation process. So what's the adaptation process if we would start from P? So I have already a little bit of adaptation, that I start here from the middle out with an adaptation into directions towards the other where the P will end to. I'll go to the possibilities of direction with P. The L on its own is a growing process, a growing out of its situation, or within its physicality, within its space and so on. Okay, also that I will adapt to that, pushing forward to the plant, not just from my center out, but of course also towards that center where I have to start from. So also I will do that. I will have to stretch the A. I will have to move the letter N, so I have to stretch my foundation of A, which is a horizontal foundation, and it's I can keep it the whole way through, but I have my foundation underneath. I keep that underneath. The letter N, which pushes up the space to another space, I keep that as well, but I keep that pushing up towards the P as well, of course, so that I have it at the right position so that I can start from P and not from my own center. So I have to start from something which is beyond you and me. It's a thing there which grows. So I have this growing out of space towards that pushing out. I almost have it. I don't have the T yet. Here I have actually the expression of plan. Here I plan ahead to something further, where something will be grown, where something will be pushed out. Also that is recognizable, but I still miss the letter T. The letter T, usually, it is here in the middle from my space, my own spatial view, where I see the things where they are. I keep the spatial view, I keep the vertical pointing up, and I keep the foundations where that starts from. So I keep the vertical from my foundations, and as again I move it up towards my starting point of focus. That starting point of focus is there in the letter P, and there my plant will grow to. So now I understand, and also the plant which is still that foundation underneath, is still recognizable in all of its meanings. But this kind of expression goes immediately to the object itself, doesn't keep my focus, my theory, my interpretation. No, it goes to the plant into one go. So it moves up every letter until I found the full thing into one go, into one direction, into one point even, that word is directing to. There somewhere in space, there somewhere in time. That's the expression of plant. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks again for watching. Bye.